It was brutally cold. He was the only survivor. He was the only one. By keeping himself on the top of that boat, he survived. He came back to International Falls. All four of those men were prominent men in the city. They were well known, well liked. The question was asked, why was it that Frank survived? Why was it that he was the only person that managed to get up on the hull of that boat and these other three men drifted off? They found the bodies. It was easy. They all had life jackets on. They were floating out there. So it was not hard to find their bodies. Why was it that Frank survived? Could it have been that Frank pushed some of the other guys off because the boat wouldn't float high enough to save all of them? Did he push them off? And the question came up, and I sat in that Sunday school class looking at Frank and thinking, no, he didn't do that. He didn't do that. And you know, the city and the people decided Frank didn't do that. He doesn't do that sort of thing. He is a decent, he is an honorable man. He loves the Lord. He serves his church. He serves his family. He would never do that. He might give up his life for his friends, but he would never put his life ahead of one of his friends. And you know, the city sorted that out, and they went on. To this day, I don't believe there's a single person that believes that he did anything that was a fortunate person to be able to get to that boat, and the rest of them just drifted off so far they couldn't get there. That was a man of God. That was a man that, if conviction was to be a Christian, he was convicted. So I go back to the elements of the Christian walk and say, what are they? Well, they're the fruits of the Spirit, the fruits in your life. And so I ask, what are the fruits? What are the fruits? We go back to Galatians, one of my absolute favorite books. I read about life by the Spirit. Of course, Paul's writing, and Paul talks about the fruit. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Those are the fruits of the Spirit. You know, I have trouble memorizing things, but I have memorized those 9 fruits. I have absolutely memorized. I'm not saying I live within that umbrella of those definitions. No, I don't. But I do know those elements in a Christian walk. And I look at those, and sometimes when I have a problem like I had today, and there's going to be some discussion, I say to myself, bring the fruits of the Spirit, bring gentleness, bring kindness to this issue, and do what's right. Because people are watching me, so do what's right. So Paul talks about the fruits. And the first one is love. And you know, we're challenged often to show love. We're challenged often to have that as a basic bedrock in our life. And to show love not only within our family, but to people that we come and even casually come in contact. And we have to keep that in our presence all the time. We look at joy. You know, I looked at joy one morning, and I was just staring at it, and I was thinking to myself, where is joy in my life? Well, I crack a lot of jokes and goof off a lot. But I thought to myself, you know, as a husband, as a father, I have a responsibility to bring joy to my family. I can set the tone of my family. If my attitude is bad, my family picks up on it. If my attitude is positive, maybe I've got a smile on my face, complimentary, my family picks up on it. And I have a responsibility to bring joy into my house. I think back on it, and Larry reminded me nice, he wants a new story, right? A new story. So here I am. I am sitting at the dinner table one evening, and the family starts a major discussion on the merits of margarine and butter. Now, I happen to be the person who believes strongly in margarine. I don't think there's anybody around who can tell the difference between margarine and butter. Now, I do not believe, and my children are sitting there saying, yes, you are, Dad, as usual, you are wrong. Sometimes I have to say, who's raising who around here, But anyway, they are, and unfortunately, my dear wife also thinks I'm wrong. She's more subtle. I think we must have had at least 3 kids around the table. So finally I said, then he kept saying, well, I'll taste the butter. I can taste the butter and margarine. I'll tell you which one. I said, I don't trust any of you guys to set this thing up. I said, I'll tell you what. Here's what we'll do. I will set up 1 plate of butter and 1 plate of margarine, and the cat, which is always wandering around the kitchen, I'll let the cat decide. I said, the cat does not know the difference between butter and margarine. Well, I said, the cat was sitting over by the steps. I put 1 plate of margarine and 1 plate of butter, absolutely equidistant from the cat. The cat walked over to the margarine plate. I'll never forget this. It sniffed it, put its paw in the margarine, and pushed the plate. It literally pushed the plate. It walked over to the butter, and it ate every bit of it. My kids will never let me forget that. They will bring that up every few weeks. And I said, it was pure joy. It was pure joy. I mean, we had more fun with that over the years. And, we've tried to put together as many of those in our quilt of memories as we can. Because I think the joy is an important part of life. And then we talk about peace. We talk about bringing peace to relationships, peace into situations, and peace to differences of opinion and to organizations we are part of. How often we choose antagonism over peace or some, hurt feelings over peace. And patience, my personal nemesis. I will even admit to this, and I'm not sure this is sin. I know it's a crime, but I'm not sure it's sin. I do occasionally, maybe more often than occasionally, I turn left on red arrows. I will admit that. I do not have the patience to sit there and wait through a lot of these life sequences. One morning I turned left on the red, and God, the police car sitting. Unfortunately, they got those blocks, right? Anyway, patience. I did no trouble with you. Kindness, you try to reach out to a stranger, show kindness in situations, particularly going back to relationships. And how about goodness? I was thinking of my friend Frank. That man was so good that everybody realized he would not do anything that was not honest, that was not, he wouldn't put himself ahead of somebody else. Frank was a good man. He was a good man. And how about gentleness? How often do you come on blue and you bring a gentle spirit to the situation instead of just, kind of in somebody's face? And then self-control. Well, I sometimes have self-control problems with my self-control. I'm not getting into that one. You folks have all, you folks have all been there, done that. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. But it's a good checklist, and you got a lot of fun with it. You can try to live your life by it. And I'm not standing up here as an example saying, hey, I memorized the list, and boy, I tell you, I never miss. My son stopped me one day some years ago and said, Dad, you working on the fruits of the Spirit? I said, yeah, I'm trying to read everything the Bible there is on each one of the fruits of the Spirit. He said, well, I suggest you spend a little extra time on patience. I said, yeah, thanks a lot. But he was right. He was right. We're challenged to live by these things. Not to bring glory to us or lift ourselves up, but to bring glory and honor to our Lord Jesus Christ. It's not us. And secondly, we're asked to make the world a better place. It's God's will, and we're called upon to do it. So I challenge you, as I challenge myself, memorize the fruits of the Spirit, have some fun with them, tell a few family members, maybe some friends that you're working on, and they will be only too happy to remind you of which one you're falling short of.